Hello and welcome to another video at the LDN Studio IG. My name is Williams, and in this particular video, what I'm going to be running through is a simple demonstration on how you can create sort of scripts, custom, I like to say static scripts, as in they are sort of customized in a distinct area. In this case, I have a, quote unquote script on Notepad. And it just has some dummy data inside, some numbers, some strings. They're all string, but you know what I mean. Like I have a set of numbers here, some words there. And what you can do by using serialization, you can import this data into your application and then you can further process it depending on the needs of your application. So without much further ado, let's get straight into the video. So how do I achieve this? Firstly, I'll demonstrate what's going on. So this is test script 1. If I go to my application, I'm going to hit import. Now I'm going to look for the test file, which is here, the script file, and it's now been imported. So if I click add, what it should do is add all those numbers that you saw together, and it gives you the total. So in this case, it's 54. And if I click read, it just basically prints out the contents of the Notepad file. And if you pause the video, if you would like to, out of your own curiosity, you'll find that these numbers here and these numbers here do indeed add up to 54. So let's go into the code and see how I did this. So firstly, you want to craft your UI depending on the needs of your application. This is a very simple demonstration. So all I needed was 3 main functionalities, import, add, and read. And I just crafted the UI as you can see here. I went ahead and designed this on WPF, but the same principles will apply for WinForms and Windows Console applications if that's what you're using. So firstly, make sure you have the correct namespaces, distinctly using system.xml. I needed using system windows.forms. What else? And I think those are the main ones. Also using system.io. Those are the main ones you're going to need in this particular scenario. I went ahead and I made a XML document class. I declared one and I called it XML tab. The reason that it's called tab is because, as you can kind of tell from this kind of legacy comment, this was actually supposed to be a functionality inside a musical application I was developing, and it's still on my computer. Tablature is just simply a means of reading guitar music, as sheet music is quite a contemporary form of manuscripting, and that's why I left it as tablature there. Anyway, you don't need to worry about that. Really, you just want to declare an XML document. I made a list of string called XML buffer. Now, if you observe this add function, all it does, simply put, is it takes a double, which is going to be the end value, and it loops through the contents of my list. In fact, before I go on to this, I will describe the main function, which is the deserialization. I think that's a better place to start. So what happens here, because the above relies on this, and it will make more sense as I go along. So anyway, what you want to do, your XML tab, which is the XML document, you want to instantiate it here. I open a new file dialog, all the standard procedures. I have my default directory. I select which file I want to serialize. In this case, it's a text file, as I've specified here. It filters for text, unless if you choose all files. And this is the main deserializing routine. It's a stream reader that I'm utilizing, and I coded it in this configuration. So using stream reader sr equals new stream reader, open file.file name. And now, because I have 4 lines of code in the Notepad file, if I can bring it up right now. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I loop recursively 4 times in this particular part of the loop. And all it does, it reads the line, and then it adds each line to my XML buffer. That's the first part. So now for that add function, so what happens? Now that my XML buffer has been populated here, all I do is I increment over the list 6 times, and I execute this line of code. So I have a value named value, it's a double, and I add to value the substring of the line of code that I'm on. and the substring here is restrained to the limits of x, so wherever x is in the loop, and also 1, which just basically means the length and the start index. So int being the start index is where I begin, and length. So if you are familiar with the substring function, you'll know what this means. And I'm just simply returning the value. Very simple, right? Read is kind of similar in principle, but instead all I'm doing is I'm concatenating value with this data here, and value in this context is a string which is empty, and I'm concatenating that. I'm assigning it a value of itself being an empty string, an empty space, and also data. Data is just literally the element being focused on in the for loop. In this case, the XML buffer elements, which is my list of string, and I just return the value. And is there anything else here? And I just assign the buttons on the UI to the functionalities. I've done that here as well, and that is literally it. So you can pause the video at any point to just study the code. This is my approach, and you can kind of extrapolate on this idea in order to create more complex functionalities. The main one being this extract script function, whereby I'm using the de-serialize routine to get the contents of my text file over here. And then apart from that, it's literally anything you want to do with your file. In this case, I just had a simple read function and an add function for these 2 lines of code. So that's all I wanted to share for now. I hope you found this video informative. Feel free to like, subscribe, and to follow more of my uploads on the LDN Studio IG channel. Once again, my name is Williams, and I bid you a good day. Bye-bye.